I am cooler than a polar bear's toenails, and you better recognize it. This is also, once more, here we are for the 35th time inside of a Lindenwold attic.
In a row.
In a row. We haven't missed not a 1 week.
Nope, not yet.
Because consistency is key.
It's the only thing that matters.
And this is the Gig Podcast.
I like to say the best ability is availability.
You don't say that.
I never say that.
We are here. If you're watching us on Facebook, then you see us on Facebook. But also know that we're live streaming on YouTube and Twitch as well on the Gig Podcast channel. If you want to check us out over there. We're trying to get the YouTube jumping. It's slow going, but listen. You throw a little mental illness in the mix, your views skyrocket.
Through the roof.
You
can get to 120 no problem if you just coke somebody up allegedly and just let them go.
And God bless.
God bless. Good man.
Yeah, I believe that maybe the next move we should do is start hanging outside of Walter Rand Transportation Center, just grabbing guests and plopping them in the seat. That being said...
You drive by 3 times, and if the same person is there 3 times, that's our guy.
Come on. That being said, the voice you hear across from me is the Sultan of Seltzer, the OBS Maestro, the most celebrated Yeah.
That's the remix.
That's the remix. The most celebrated procrastinating Scorpio on the south side of New Jerusalem.
You are not kidding.
That was a tongue twister to get through that one. I am the 2021 as real minus the dope, father of a monkey, son of a gorilla, and Jean Grey's biggest inspiration, Cove.
The rapper or the comic book character?
Oh, the rapper.
Okay.
Yeah, we got hot and heavy in a Burger King bathroom many moons ago.
Once.
Yeah, when I
got you.
I was 16, she was 26. Sure. You know, it is
Still
what it was. It was before the Me Too movement. We're gonna let her slide. So earlier we were listening to a hot new release that you just didn't see the glory in it all, which is after, let's say, we're probably looking at about a good 10 years that we've been being told that Big Body Bess is going to release his album, Body Language.
Right.
This week, we finally got the first track off of it.
Yeah, this is like the East Coast's detox. Like, we've been waiting for this one forever, and finally we woke up, and it's here. It's like Christmas.
All of hip-hop has been waiting for Big Body Bess to drop.
Yeah, you're not saying anything we don't know.
The album isn't here yet, but he does have out his first joint, Tears of a Tiger, and it's a Harry Fraud beat. The beat is melodic and beautiful and
got the
everything.
Saxophone in it with a Harry Fraud trademark.
Yeah, everything that you expect from a Harry Fraud beat. And Big Body Bess is talking that good old Fulton Street bullshit.
He is.
No
concern for the rhithm of the beat. No concern for rhyming. He's just shouting some shit. It's like you're on the street corner listening to jazz and hearing him yell over it.
It's It's kind of, it's very, what's the?
It's avant-garde.
Yeah. Okay. We'll call it avant-garde. It's Attica avant-garde.
There you go.
It's also like what's the word when the jazz that they play, but they're like just kind of
like syncopated,
all over the place with it, like freestyle and jazz, kind of
like scat.
Kind of scat, but there's a different fucking word and I can't think of it, and we'll just move on past it because I can't. How's that grab you?
Improvisational
jazz. That's exactly what it is, but with words and illegal conversation.
I mean, the conversation's not illegal. Maybe what they're talking about
about illegal topics. Correct. Since we're in the music lane, right?
Yeah.
I stumbled across maybe the most phenomenal YouTube channel that I have stumbled across in quite some time.
And that's saying a lot because you're out there on YouTube constantly.
I'm heavy in the YouTube streets. This is what I do, watch YouTube. I don't watch TV. I watch YouTube.
You watch YouTube.
Yeah.
You got a little more control over it.
Yeah. So I searched. Oh, okay.
That's what happened.
There's a Petey Crack song called An MC.
Okay.
Or The MC.
The MC.
And The MC was on Crack Files Volume 3, I believe, and nowhere else.
Okay.
I haven't heard it anywhere else before and or after I owned Crack Files Volume 3.
Right.
I still have that song in my head from the time I was 19 years old and it was released.
And you heard it.
Right? Yeah. Because it was such a banger of a crack song, and you know my relationship with Petey.
You're a big you have a big familiarity with him, so you really pay attention to his work.
Love him. One of my favorites top 3 out of Philadelphia, definitely top 10 worldwide.
You feel like he's what you could have been if you got all the way to the top of the rap game. Like the life and the path is very similar, so you really relate to him and enjoy his company and his music.
Yeah, I think if I was half black, half Hispanic,
You're not?
no.
Okay.
I mean, I might have had the same exact path.
Yeah.
I may be
You're
I may be one with P Crack.
your alternate universe PD Crack.
I'm going to put it out there, right? Coming soon, we're going to have the Gig Podcast episode with PD Crack live in studio.
I'm all for it.
All right, I can't tell you when it's happening.
Just let me
Just know that it's coming.
give me a week because I got to get a total of all the money that he owes certain people, and then we can talk about it on the show.
Crack doesn't owe anybody money. Watch your mouth.
Versus then.
Yeah. Okay. That's all right. Listen. What do you expect? Yeah.
Hey.
Did you think anything less when Crack talked to you drunk on the phone and say, "Yeah, send that $5,000 over. I have it tomorrow morning."
It's called a hustle for a reason.
Yeah. So the MC, I just out of nowhere, I decided to search it.
Yeah.
I did. Pops up. Right.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, this is the best day of the week so
Right.
far. So I'm in the gym listening to P Crack, the MC, and I look at the channel that it's on. It's called Philly Rewind.
Philly Rewind. Okay.
And I'm like, all right, let's see what's up with Philly Rewind. And I click on it, and there's at least hundreds of videos, if not 1,000 or better, of all rare mixtape Philly songs and street corner freestyles.
Okay.
This guy had a phenomenal collection of mixtapes, is what I'm guessing, and just started ripping his actual mixtape CD collection,
Right,
and
to
putting
YouTube.
it on YouTube, and also had like maybe a few Big Star DVDs that he plucked some videos off of and threw them on YouTube as well. So
He's very heavy with the state prop.
the state prop, the Larceny family, he's got
Right.
the major figures in there. He's got a bunch of cats that I never even heard of.
Okay.
You know, like there's one female rapper, Hedonist, the Aztec or something like that. Something the Hedonist, right? Who's a female rapper who's a
The Amazon.
Hedonist the Amazon, who's just a hard ass Philly female rapper who I
Right.
never fucking heard of. But it's a showing of Philadelphia hip hop history of the early 2000s.
Yeah, it doesn't go back as far as I'd like to see it go back, but at least he's got Philly's Most Wanted on there.
Where would you like to see it go back to?
Maybe 95-ish, like another 5 years back, because there's a couple songs that I probably couldn't even tell you the name of at this point that were only on Power 99, and
Right.
I never got a chance to like pick up the white press single or anything like that.
What was happening in Philly in 95, music-wise? Like, who was popping?
The Ram Squad. The Ram Squad was probably
All the way in 95? I thought they were a little later, but I guess that could have been their entry into the game.
They were
on the mixtapes.
They were the underground side, and
Yeah.
then obviously at that point, still even the Roots. The Roots were on their way to the ceiling.
Right.
Those were the two major ones. Everybody else was super duper underground, and all fighting for the same chair.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I remember Ram Squad. I didn't really come into the scene until Major Figures,
Right.
and then didn't get heavy into it until the DVD era / State Prop.
Right.
But yeah, this dude has a wild collection.
It is. It's a whole lot of. You can see as you're flipping through it, like the video quality, you can tell like this was all ripped from somewhere that no one wanted it ripped from.
Yeah. It's not good video quality.
No, but that's okay. It's
but
not,
it's for historical purposes only.
You go through the catalog and hear some things that, like you said, like you haven't heard since you heard it.
Yeah, like we had discussed when Reef was here the other week. We discussed Brick or Roll.
Right.
There's a Bricks freestyle on there.
There's a Bricks free. Oh, you must
not the one that I wanted.
Right, but at least something.
But also maybe the one that I wanted is coming because this guy continues to put music on every few hours. He's putting one new song on. So
because there's that, and then like you can get the domino effect. Like somebody comes and sees that Brick or Roll freestyles there, and they're like, oh shit, I have one of this guy's freestyles. Let me put
and then
mine
they put
up.
the Brick or Roll freestyle up.
Right.
I would love to find the one where he's wearing a Corona hat outside the corner store. Kills it. He has a Corona hat on that's like half straw, half fucking mesh trucker hat.
Oh, sure.
And he just fucking murders it. I don't even remember what beat it was. The Joey Jihad, where Jihad got a fucking Padres jersey on and half an afro out, and it's over the fucking Nas beat. That John was on there?
Yeah, I just flipped past that. It's got some Reed Dollars on there.
Yeah, it's got all the fucking... All the
hits.
suspects that you want to see in fucking Philly historical hip-hop. So,
all the hits that were never hits.
Now, the one thing he doesn't have, because I asked him,
okay,
I reached out and I said, yo, I've been forever looking for The City of Brotherly Thug by Journalist.
The Journalist.
And he said, no, I don't have that.
I thought, and I'll have to go back to the tapes, I thought we found him. I thought we found Journalist, that we could potentially ask him if he still has a copy of it.
Oh, I don't know. That sounds like a job for the producer.
That does sound like a job for the producer. I'll have to get in touch with him.
Don't fuck around and come here and put City of Brotherly Thug on as the intro one week, because I'll
Just
blow the
drop it in.
speakers out. Your fucking headphones will get blown out. That's one of my favorite, and I've probably said it before, but a large portion of my rap style was
built on his...
Yeah, inspired by Journalist's craft. One of my favorites out of the city. Not as much so as Crack, but, you know, he's still up there. He was definitely one of my favorites.
Not everybody can be the top guy. It doesn't mean they're not good.
Not everybody's Petey Crack.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And actually, I think Journalist is probably, craft-wise, just a notch above Petey on the actual writing of things. But I think Petey is a better delivery. Song maker versus... Yeah, like he can make... I mean, obviously, he's made fucking hits.
Yeah.
Flip Side and one for Petey Crack. He's made super hits.
Yeah.
And God knows all the ghostwriting that he may or may not have done throughout the years for the bigger names. Because Petey, I think, is probably living pretty fat. I would assume.
You would think...
Not rich, but...
No, but he's comfortable.
I don't think he's got a 9-to-5.
No, probably not. He's probably made enough and is continuing to make enough on guest appearances and whatnot that he doesn't need a 9-to-5.
Yeah. Wish I didn't need a 9-to-5, but that's just not the way it works out.
What we're progressing towards.
Well, we're working at it. And that reminds me, big shout out to my boy Brian Rocks.
Okay.
Brian's last name is not Rocks.
All right. But that's what we're calling him for the sake of the show?
In my phone, he's listed as Brian Rocks
because he rocks?
No, because he's friends with Ice Rocks.
Okay.
Him and Ice Rocks are business partners in the house investment field.
Okay.
And so when they contacted me, I just put him in as Brian Rocks and Ice Rocks.
I gotcha.
I did some work for him today.
Nice.
So that was that. And we discussed maybe some business moves in the future. And if that happens, it will be great. You know, we talked about it a little bit. Nothing set in stone. But maybe when the market comes back, we will be able to get in on the front side of an investment property.
Okay.
We'll see. I don't know. Who knows? But he's been listening. So
good. I like that.
What up, Brian?
I'd like to hear something from anybody who's listening. It's you know, even if it's just a hey.
Well,
it's nice to hear every now and then.
He did. I called him the other day to discuss coming in today.
Okay.
Called him a few days ago. I said, look, I got, the day on Friday I could slide through.
Right.
And he was like, all right, yeah. I just got my fucking college kid working. And I'm like, for real? Fucking college kid? He's like, yeah, I heard you saying that there's no, you never see young guys on the job. So I'm telling you, I got a fucking young guy on the job over here.
How much are his parents paying for him to be there?
I think actually, see, Brian's got it all fucked up. He's actually paying the guys. Yeah, he didn't listen to the episode.
He says he listens to the show, but I don't think he listens close enough.
Yeah, he didn't go. If you're listening now, go back to the episode titled 7-1 Re-Education Camp, and you can learn how to get free labor out of these kids.
It's not even free. It's net profit for you.
Yeah, you're earning.
Yeah.
You're earning. So I got an interesting call this week that I briefly shared with you, but let's hash it out some more on
all right.
A few interesting calls. We could talk about the other one that your eyes just popped into. We could talk about that one in a little bit, and actually it's on my list.
Okay.
But Big Cuz,
okay,
your other partner in crime.
Okay. I'm still not clear as to who Big Cuz is, but I assume it's Phil?
No.
Oh.
Big Cuz is Michael James Patrick Robinson on Facebook.
Okay.
You've seen maybe you're a friend, maybe you're not. I don't know. He's around. Big Cuz was a rapper for a little bit, but now he fell back into the DJ role.
Okay.
And he's doing I I believe he does a lot with Uptown Radio,
Okay.
98.6, 96, 99.5. I don't really know. I don't know what their call number is, but it's it's like a college. It's adjacent to a college radio station out there in Uptown, all the way up North Philly.
Okay.
Small station, but I know also.
Yeah, 98.5.
Yeah, Latif. I don't know Teef's other name, but Teef, who is also in the, in the Philadelphia hip hop circle, does a show up there.
Okay.
Which Biz made me aware of, and Big Cuz now fell into the DJ role. He does a lot of like roller rinks, and he's like heavy in the roller rink world right now.
That's big.
Which I think is dope. I told him that. I hit him up one day a while back. I was like, you know what? I like to see that you're trying to bring back roller skate culture because it's heavy.
It was a good culture.
It's wholesome fun, man.
It wasn't completely, it wasn't completely wrecked by the streets. You go out and have some fun for a little bit.
It's good wholesome fun.
Yeah.
I'll be excited when Sadie Girl can roller skate and we can go to the rink.
Yeah.
And I'll rent a pair of speed skates and I'll fucking get my shuffle skate on, And then when she's in 5th grade and wants to get dropped off at the roller rink,
Not happening.
no, I'll drop her off, and then I'll also park the
Swing
truck, get in there, and fucking get those peanut butters spinning. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be over at the Miss Pac-Man machine if you need me.
Yeah. No. I'm gonna be on. I'm gonna be out in the rink.
On the rink.
I'm out there getting busy. Put on a little Susie. Put on some
Taylor
Cynthia.
Dane.
Yeah. Put on some Cynthia and Johnny O for me.
Anything on the razor and tie label, and we're going in circles. Let's
it.
go.
So Big Cuz hits me up.
Okay.
Says, yo, I love what you're doing with the podcast.
All right.
I say, thanks, man. Appreciate that. He said, I want to offer you a spot on the radio,
All
on
right.
FM radio.
Well, it's
a
beautiful.
good look.
Yeah,
it's
beautiful.
Phenomenal. I said, I appreciate it. I highly appreciate it.
Of course.
I got to think about it a little bit because
that's a life-altering decision.
It could be in a good way or a terrible way.
Well, even in the short term, whatever block of time you're going to go do the show is going to change a whole bunch of other things,
Yeah.
in your life. Where are you going to clear that time? What are you going to do for that time? All that shit.
Well, that's probably my biggest concern is where I'm going to find the time to be able to do a
third show.
Yeah, a third show.
But it feels like this is your sort of in your head, you created a Monday night show, you created a Friday show. So you know who Adam Carolla is?
Yes.
So he's got the Ace Broadcasting Network. So there's him. He's the flagship show. He's the important one. But then he's got a whole bunch of other people that are friends or tangentially related to him, and they have shows, and they all basically come under his flag.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like you're trying to put together here, like the 7-1 podcast industry.
Yeah. I would love to.
But you have to take that flagship show to the pinnacle, so that people say, well, what else is this? This guy's good. I like to hear what he's saying. He probably has some other people saying things that he likes.
Yeah.
And I'll probably like it.
Yeah. And obviously we are working on getting it to the top. We're jamming.
Yeah.
We're doing way better than we were, I think, back in January.
Sure.
We're on our way up the charts. We got a couple of bangers in the tuck, and then a couple of snoozers.
Well,
but this is how it goes.
I don't feel any of them were ever snoozers, but they were certainly better than others.
There were some that were better than others.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been getting messages from Monkey. It's probably a I love you gif. It is.
Heading to sleep.
It's Minnie Mouse saying thank you. Okay.
All right.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, Minnie Mouse.
I have been addressed on some of my negative comments about our own show. All right.
Just by me?
No.
Oh, okay.
I've been told that I should stop saying this one was all right, but speak what you believe it should be.
Well,
or the idea, gas it up, and that's absolutely true. I should put some more heart and soul behind it every time I talk about it.
So I don't totally agree with that, but I do somewhat agree with that. I think part of what clicks about the show and why people want to listen is because you're being very honest and very truthful and being yourself.
Yeah.
So if you just came on this show and just hyped it up we got another great show coming, no one's going to believe you. And then once you lose that sort of reality, what's the point of the show?
Yeah.
If we're just going to come on the show and bullshit. But by the same token, we don't have to harp on, oh, that last week's episode was a fucking dumper.
Listen.
And we don't need to be listening. Don't even go back and listen to the all right, calm down. You can say this week's going to be better than last week, but you don't have to keep telling me why last week was bad.
Well, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all is kind of what it is.
If I stuck by that policy, I'd be the quietest motherfucker on the planet.
Here you go. So, Big Cuz put it on the table for a radio spot.
Okay.
For me, which in turn means a radio spot for you and or Biz. Right? So, whether the decision comes that we do the Voltron thing and all three of us attack a radio show one night a week, or me and you do it, or he might do something like give us a fucking Wednesday night or Thursday morning at 3 a.m. spot, in which case it's going to just be pre-recorded and then sent in.
Is that
an option? I don't know.
No. Not is that an option, but just for argument's sake, if he does give you the Wednesday at 3 a.m. segment, does that automatically have to be a pre-tape show?
In my world, yeah.
Okay.
There's
no
way.
Fair.
There's no way that I could stay awake, then have to go to work the next day, and I can't listen because right now, as much as I would love to, and we've discussed it plenty of times, as much as I would love to dedicate a full 40 hours a week to podcasting,
there's got to be money behind it.
Yeah, right now the bottom line comes from 7-1 Construction, which if you're in the business for home remodeling at this point, feel free to reach out to me. 856-729-7278, 7-1 Construction. We do all facets of home remodeling.
That sounds like our call-in number.
It's also our call-in number. We have somebody at the studio all times of the day sitting here ready to answer the live phone calls. And the secretary will then point you to the podcast, to the gig, or to 7-1 Construction. Right.
So he hasn't clarified what slot you'd have, and that's probably your biggest hang-up at the moment.
That's a major hang-up.
Right.
Also, this is a smaller station, so you have to pay dues.
Okay.
Okay, which to me at first sounded a little crazy.
Right.
But after talking to Phil, who works at a smaller station, said, yeah, that's about what's right. And
I know there's a station over in Washington Township that operates in that manner. It's almost like the old school infomercial game where you pay for the local access, public access TV type stuff.
Yeah. Well, the idea behind paying dues would be it's probably relatively easy at $50 a month to get local advertisement.
Right.
And I think local advertisement and revenue off of local advertisement is probably easier to obtain being on an FM radio than it is being on the internet, on a podcast. Yeah. So that's like
is that what it is? $50 a month?
Yeah.
I can probably bring us a sponsor before day one that would cover $50 a month.
Well, and then the other thing is we can probably get a couple more sponsors and turn it into something very minor revenue, but revenue nonetheless.
Just you get 5 or 6 people to do the $50 a month game, and it's not your fortune to retire on yet, but you're trending in the right direction. So at least when people start asking you do this dumb thing every Friday night.
What do you do it for?
What are you really doing this for? And you go, well, you know what? I'm not making a fortune, but I'm making my gas money and my lunch money for the week, so why not? Yeah. So that was one of the things that kind of pulled me towards like, okay, this could be a thing. Okay.
Also, I think, and I'm not for sure, but I think we have a little bit more freedom with music.
Okay.
And the ability to not have to think about a copyright claim.
Right.
Which would be great because then we can have the music show that we want to have that's really almost solely focused on music.
Right.
I kind of, in my mind, have the map out of it being the new school version of the Batcave or the Come Up Show, like a Philly underground street hip-hop where, we got a couple of crack dealers in the lobby because they're rapping at 11 o'clock type of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe have to get a metal detector at the building, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I like the idea. Obviously, I'm very pro music and pro doing the deep dives into stuff like that.
Yeah.
My question for that as a format is, So at the point in time where like Raw Deal and Stretch and Bobbito and all these things were big things,
Yeah.
there was no internet.
Yeah.
And there was, this is how you got your fix. This is how you found out what the what am I supposed to be listening to? Let me put on, WPRB on a Thursday night, and they're basically
find out what's hot.
They're going to let me know, because I have no other way of knowing. The only other way at that point in time that I would find out like what's the next big street thing would be to go to, I think it was Armand's, and you go in the back, and if you were there at the
Where was Armand's? Because
Armand's
I remember
in
this.
Philly, right off of Market on Filbert, Filbert Street.
All right.
And if you were there at the right time, there was one dude who worked the back counter, and he would just sit there with you and just play every single 12-inch that he had in the store, and you would sit and talk about it with him.
Yeah.
But other than that, in some radio shows, you couldn't just like go on the internet and be like, what's popping?
What's hot? Yeah.
So does the additional access everyone has to what's hot reduce the need for a show that gives you like the future flavors?
Well, here's the thing, and that was brought up in discussion with another one of our business associates.
Okay.
And he said kind of the same thing, to which my reply was, the heaviest thing in the joint is that fucking Side B radio, the Surgeon General, the Come Up Show. Those shows are heavy when you're locked up, right?
So you're, and again, I'm not opposed to any of the ideas, but you're playing into what I'm saying. It's heavy in the places where people can't get to all the music they want to get to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
correct.
Like they're captive.
Yeah.
So, you can listen to PRB or you can listen to nothing. There's not Napster in jail where you could go download some MP3s and sit by yourself and figure out if you like the new wave stuff.
So, but that builds and on any given day in the New Jersey state system, when Side B comes on, there's 1,000+ radios tuned to that station.
Right.
That's 1,000 sets of ears tuned into our show.
To everything.
Which then build Phil has my undying loyalty to the end because of Side B.
He got you through some tough times.
Yeah. So you're building loyalty that way of guys who then come home, and whether they keep listening to the radio or they shift over and now they're listening to the gig.
Right.
Or whoever might stumble across it. It's all about funneling back to the gig so that the gig gets built more and more and more.
Right.
So, that was another thing that popped into my head. Like, am I hustling backwards by trying to play the radio in the internet age?
Well, it's not ever going to be a backwards hustle, because anything that you're doing, so our end goal is to amplify our voices.
Yeah.
For whatever purpose, whether it's to make people laugh or to make a point or to talk about taking down the system.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, the goal is to amplify your voice. So if your next step up, if it goes from we really only reach the people that are already your friends or people who just happen to stumble onto us, versus being on a radio station where there's going to be whatever is on right before your shift, some of those people are going to trickle over.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes. So whatever amplifies the voice more is not going to be hustling backwards. It might not be the most successful plan, but it's always going to be another push forward from what we're doing right now.
Yeah, and this is my thought, is that I might not want a radio career may not be in the cards anymore, because radio just isn't really a thing. But we get access to a whole bunch more equipment, is my assumption.
Yeah.
And shit, who knows? Maybe it does unlock a radio career. Maybe, because let's be for real. You put me, you, and Biz in the studio, our show is going to be better than pretty much anybody else who's on that station.
That's my feeling on it, yeah.
Yeah. So now, who knows who catches, so-and-so who's the VP of fucking marketing for Uptown Radio.
Right.
Is also involved over at fucking Y100.
Sure. But we don't even need that. We need the VP of marketing to go, every time these guys come on, they're gold. Let's get them some advertising. What the next trend? So you take this opportunity, and right now it's going to be you pay the $50 and we go and find the advertisers.
Yeah.
When you get to the level of where they go, hey, let us find the advertisers for you. You've made it to that next step because now they feel like it's worth them investing their time and effort to make money off of your back.
Right.
And now you're going,
Now you're heading in the right
now
direction.
You're heading where you need to be.
But that's the thing. Until you hop into the mix with something, you don't know what door is going to open off of that thing. And, I have a already fucking jam-packed schedule, as we know.
Sure. We all do.
So this is a heavy commitment to add one more, but what I'm thinking, and this is, again, what I told the third party involved, I said, like, look, it's the idea.
Are we not allowed to say his name on the show?
No, I just like doing it like that. It makes it sound a little mysterious.
The man behind the curtain.
Yeah. The third wheel.
Sure feels like it.
The tricycle. So I say to Mr. Tricycle.
Sure.
I said, look, because he was like, look, you got a business, you got 2 shows, you're going to the gym every day, you got this, you got that, like it's a lot more for you than it is for me.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, but my general thought is like I'm gonna have to work my ass off until I don't.
Till it clicks.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when you first told me about it, my immediate first thought was, let's do it on Friday nights and get rid of this. Not that there's anything wrong with this, but if we can take this and put it on the air, that's already better than what we're doing right now. So why wouldn't we?
Well, as long as we could, actually, that might not be a bad route. As long as we can still broadcast via all the spots that we do,
right?
Facebook, YouTube, we could still get the live stream going. I am all for changing this to a Friday night show.
I don't see
to
why
a radio show.
Yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't be allowed to. Just
yeah,
because,
we should be.
Because most of the other radio stations out there, the big, like WIP and the big ones, they all have their show simulcast on TV and things like that.
Yeah.
And at that point, it would just be a matter of, well, don't have the camera over here. We don't want to show this or whatever.
Right.
But other than that, I don't see why they'd be opposed to it if it's just giving you bigger reach.
Yeah. The problem also, though, might be the idea of breaking down and setting up on a weekly basis there.
No, because we wouldn't need half of this stuff.
Yeah.
Right? We would come in, we don't need our mix boards, we don't need our microphones, we need the laptop, potentially the cameras, depending on what equipment they have, but the cameras are small and mobile.
Yeah.
And then that's about it.
Yeah.
Because there's certainly going to be an aux out on the mix board that's going to go into the computer. And then they're already going to be set up to take the phone calls and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be as cumbersome as you think it is to put this on the road if where we're going is somewhere that's already equipped to broadcast.
Yeah. That's probably true. Okay. So that's a thought.
Yeah.
That's a thought, and we're going to keep thinking about it and see what comes out of it. Who knows? Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. I don't know.
I think the next big thing would be when will they get, like, what slot would they be willing to give you? Because like you said, if it's 3 a.m. and it's going to be a tape show, that's still great, but it's not really what you want. You want a live show.
Yeah.
You want to be able to on the spot take the call, answer the text, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And talk about the things that are happening the day that they're happening.
Yeah.
Not that we would pass on a pre-recorded show, but ideally you want a live show.
I want a live spot for sure.
So,
and I want to be able to take collect calls from state facilities.
Absolutely. They might have to call your cell phone instead of the station phone.
I'm gonna start putting money on random books all across America, so I can get fucking collect calls and have solely a jail call-in station. Radio show.
You get $25 on your books, but the first 5 has to be spent making that phone call.
Yeah, now we're going to give you 25, and you better call in every week until that 25 is gone. You can call your mom once.
Yeah.
Maybe you can call your wife once. You get 2 calls other than the station, and then you got to call the station.
Yeah,
God
you got to call the station.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out, man. I like the idea of it. It's a dream slowly coming to fruition.
Sure.
And also, it's just showing that there's a little bit of not notoriety, but
people are paying attention.
There's a little bit of eyes, yeah.
There's a little bit, there's a little bit of people paying attention, which means at this point it's worth paying attention to.
Yeah, it is.
The validation. I don't necessarily swim in the validation, but it's nice to hear every now and then. It's nice for somebody, especially a person that you didn't know was paying attention.
Yeah.
To say, hey, I was paying attention, and you guys are doing some good stuff.
Yeah, it's not necessarily all about the validation, but it's a measure. It's a measure.
Yeah.
The validation is a measure, as it is with anything
Absolutely.
that you might be doing. I have a PSA. Actually, kind of two PSAs. I had two things that were brought to my attention that were asked of me to discuss on the show today.
Okay,
all right?
I like that. Topics.
The first one is I have a small engine repair guy who I'm pretty tight with.
Like two-stroke engine kind of guy? Like
Yeah,
fixes the
weed
lawnmowers?
whackers,
Okay.
chainsaws,
Gotcha.
fix my lawnmower. Now, the topic came up because I acquired a chainsaw
Okay.
that was not working. I brought it to him. I said, hey, if you can get this working, we'll sell it. I'll give you a cut on the profit.
Right.
And he's trying to not take a cut on the profit, but I'm not going to let that happen.
No,
Whatever.
he's
you know
doing
what I mean?
work. It's parts. No,
Right,
you
right.
got to give him something.
Yeah, I'm going to split it right down the middle, maybe even less. I might even give him 75. All I did was pick up a chainsaw and brought it to him.
Right.
And then I'm going to take some pictures and put it online. So
Right.
I'm really not doing much of anything to
Right.
deserve some money. The problem with it was that it had a dirty carburetor.
Okay.
Okay? So this is public service announcement
PSA number 1.
from good old Mr. Tony across the street. He says that this is the problem. People run into this problem all the time, is that you use your chainsaw. It happens often with chainsaws because it's kind of like you use it once and then put it away until you need it.
Tool.
Yeah. Now it sits and you're using, even if you get, premium from Wawa, it's still not quality gas.
It's not quality and it's caustic.
Yeah. And so what happens is something happens where, like, basically that gas turns into chunks of material that
sludge.
then clog your carburetor. So when you're done using your chainsaw, run it dry.
Right.
Run it dry so you got no fuel in there, so you don't have the clogged carburetor problem. Then you don't have to pay a guy like Mr. Tony $80 to clean out your carburetor and get your chainsaw running again.
Whenever you see, on TV especially, they find a car, they find a barn find, like an old car that's been sitting for forever.
Yeah.
First thing they do before they even try to do anything is go in and replace all the hoses and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because they know if gas was sitting in that tank, everything was destroyed while that car was sitting because that gas is caustic and then it evaporates and you get the sludge. That's why when I'm using the chainsaw, because it is, like you said, it's infrequent. I don't have the chainsaw out every week like I do the lawnmower. I try not half a tank. I try not to fill the reservoir up all the way because I'd rather have to keep going back, put a little more gas in until I finish my job, than have to sit there just like fucking
burning off
leather
the whole
face,
tank
just burning
of
off
gas.
a chainsaw.
The other option is to use like canned fuel,
Okay.
where you buy a quality canned fuel
Right.
that's made for two-stroke engines. So that's today's PSA announcement.
Yeah, take care of your. But again, you throw this PSA out here, and then you don't get the opportunities to find the broken chainsaws and fix them up and resell them.
Well, here's the thing. If you have a broken chainsaw,
Right.
Chances are it might be just a carburetor clog. You can reach out to 7-1 Construction, and I will get you in touch with Mr. Tony, and we will get your chainsaw fixed for you. And then going forward, you can go ahead and you'll know to use canned fuel or to run it dry.
Right.
The second topic is from one of my personal favorite guys out there on the internet, Made You Look.
Okay.
Who we've
The
discussed.
bicycle man from Boston.
We've discussed Boston BMX, Made You Look time and time
I shouldn't
again.
even call him a bicycle guy. He's an artist.
He is. Bicycle BMX artist.
Absolutely.
Made You Look, a.k.a. Jason.
Yeah.
He hit me up and he said, bro, you should talk about how these wheelie kids have no respect for the OG BMX game, which is wholeheartedly true. The wheelie boys don't understand that their whole culture was built out of, at one point, 20-inch BMX bike riding.
Right.
And I think that, the youngsters look at BMX, not all of them, but I think the wheelie boys look at BMX as corny, which is kind of funny because the level of skill that it takes to conquer a BMX is, I think, way more than it takes to be a successful wheelie boy.
Sure.
although Wheelie Boys, there's a amount of talent that it takes to do that too, obviously.
Yeah.
But BMX is on such a higher level, and they kind of scoff at it as if it's as if it's corny. Which to me, here's the thing: one, you don't exist without BMX riders.
Okay.
And two, this is kind of sadly the attitude of the new generation time and time again, where it's like almost as if the thing that's harder is looked at with a little bit of a lazy eye, like, meh, that's corny because I can't do it, because it takes way too long to figure that out and to learn how to do that. And so Look was pretty mad that he attended a Wheelie Boy ride out, with his team. He's got his minions and he brought them, and he got a little bit of slack and a little bit of kickback for being on the 20-inch bikes when these kids are riding around on their 29-inch PK big rippers and not really exhibiting the same amount of technical skill that him and his squad were displaying.
Okay. So, Grandpa, what you're basically saying here is these Wheelie Boys are the mumble rappers of today's generation.
That's absolutely what they are. Yeah, without a doubt, the Wheelie Boys are mumble rap.
So here's the thing. You might be absolutely right in what you're describing, but you are just fill in the blank any old man conversation on the planet. Back in my day, it was better because it was harder, and these kids today don't know their roots. This is every fucking conversation ever. Yeah,
sure is. I do think, listen, it very much is crotchety old man.
But I will say, like, to your point, and I kind of agree with you more than just the old man thing that's in me, is when I was, I got my license in late 92. So I probably had a car that I was driving on my own with my own consequences probably by 93. And I will tell you that the last 5 years with these wheelie kids, I'm constantly having to avoid them. They come through the middle of the street. They're on the shoulder, but not really on the shoulder. Yeah. They will ride up the middle of a side street and just fucking stare at you. Yeah. I never had to drive my car on a side street and duck the BMX kids.
You obviously weren't in my neighborhood.
Well, I mean, but the BMX kids, right? Ideally, they want to go to like a park or something like that where they have something to trick off of and they have room to work. Yeah. These wheelie kids, like, part of the plan is just to fucking annoy people.
Catch me in traffic.
Yeah, catch me in traffic. Catch me outside. Yeah. So, to a certain extent, I will agree with your conversation 100% outside of the old crotchety man thing. Yeah. Because these kids are a fucking pain in the ass. More than just kids are a pain in the ass. These motherfuckers are in the middle of traffic. And no matter what the circumstance is, if you hit them, you're in the wrong. Yeah. Regardless. Yeah. They could drop in from a 2-story house right in front of your car. You're still in the fucking wrong.
Yeah. I think that I respect the wheelie boy culture.
Okay.
I like to see the kids out there swerving buses. I would hate to see them get hit, but I like to see when they swerve in front of a bus. I think it's a ballsy move. I think it's the daredevil culture that young boys are, so known for having.
Okay.
My first scar came at 4 years old as soon as my training wheels came off.
Yeah.
Because they had a ramp down at the bottom of this steep-ass hill, and when my 13-year-old neighbors who I was hanging out and trying to be cool, when they turned around because they kept telling me, no, you can't ride on the ramp, I shot down the hill and fucking jumped off that ramp, stuck it, but then ran into a fence and scarred up my face. So I am a full-fledged supporter of daredevil activities for young men under the age of 18.
Yeah, to an extent, right? There's daredevil shit. There's jumping off a cliff. And
but you can't cap it, though.
Well, of course you can.
Well, you can, but you're not going to.
Well, no, you're not. But you can distinguish between daredevil and idiocy.
Yeah.
Right? There's an end game to daredevil stuff that ultimately you don't want to get hurt and you don't want anyone else to get hurt. You're base jumping, right? Yeah. That's some daredevil shit.
Yeah.
But really, your whole plan is to land safely without hurting a fucking, a piece of flesh.
Yes.
Whereas these wheelie kids, part of the excitement is, I might cause an accident today. Like, you can put a cap on the daredevil culture when the plan for it is simply to cause the chaos.
I don't think that they are out there with the intent of let me cause an accident let me get hurt.
I disagree.
I think it's strictly I am going to show you how balls. It's playing chicken.
Yeah,
I'm going to play chicken with a septibus.
But the end result
that takes some goddamn nuts. Send those fucking kids over to my work, man. I want those fucking guys.
The end result of chicken, right? If everybody's got the balls that they're supposed to have, the end result of chicken is 2 dead people, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so these kids are fucking plotting their own death.
Right on the edge of death.
On doing a wheelie in front of a fucking bus. That's not daredevil shit. That's dumb shit.
That's the same thing I was doing at fucking 14, trying to kill myself.
Are you trying to make the point after all these stories that you were doing the smart thing when you were 14?
No, definitely.
And I'm not even saying the smart thing because the BMX kids are doing crazy ass shit too, jumping the bike off a 2-story set of steps and shit like that, and it's dangerous and they could get hurt. But that's not the same as being in the middle of traffic trying to fuck up people's day.
Well, the more that
they're ignorant.
Here's the thing. The more that you get into crotchety old man safety mode, the more that I'm going to have to support them.
I'm not.
The more that I'm going to have to stand by you coming within inches of a septibus and ending your life just to swerve at the last minute so you could put it on Instagram.
And then if you do end your life, 30 people just watched a kid die. Because what? Because he could do a fucking wheelie?
For the gram.
Fucking lazy. For the gram.
For the gram, bro. Sometimes you got to put it all on the line for the gram.
Fuck the gram.
So, I'll give a big shout out to the wheelie kids and to all the youngsters who all your buddies are riding wheelie bikes and you chose the 20-inch.
You went the right way.
Yeah,
you
did the right thing.
The right way.
You did the right thing, kid. You did the right thing, I promise you. It's more of a I think BMX is way more of a mental puzzle than wheelie boys. You know, there's the idea of having to it's literally a fucking video game. It's a real life video game. You have to figure out how to unlock a trick. You know, I got to shift my weight a little bit this way at the last second to fucking land this. So it's like it's a combination of a physical and mental puzzle that you're solving. So it's in my world, it's the ultimate physical mental puzzle. I don't know of another one that's out there.
So we're 100% in agreement, even if you don't want to say it. The BMX has a large chance of you getting injured.
Yeah.
Possibly dying. But because you're trying to hone your art and your craft, there's a reason behind it, even though it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
You want to learn how to do a trick. You want to learn how to chain tricks together. You want to be... In this case, you want to be the popular channel on YouTube because you do these outrageous stunts in these outrageous places.
Yeah.
That's not the same as let me perfect going on one wheel and scaring the shit out of old people while they're driving.
Yeah.
Right? Like there is no... If a BMX guy refines it, maybe he goes to the Olympics, maybe he goes to the X Games, maybe he just has a monetized YouTube channel. Like there's all these levels of value to learning how to be a BMX guy, even though it might cost you a bunch of shattered bones.
Yeah.
There's no secondary value to I'm in a wheelie in the middle of traffic.
There's kids who are getting paid.
I don't think so. I mean,
I'm telling you.
I'm not saying they're not making some cash, but they're not making BMX cash. They're not making talent cash. Yeah?
I could show you a couple YouTube kids who are probably doing better than the BMX guys as wheelie boys. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? Here's the deal. If you're a fucking wheelie boy, show some goddamn respect.
Show some respect.
You know what I mean?
Especially to your elders.
Yeah. Put a little goddamn respect on it. I got this new cologne from Scentbird today.
Okay.
It's called Sweet Leaf.
Sweet Leaf. What's it? So when Scentbird sends you a cologne, is it like if you like XYZ, you'll like this?
Well,
like,
you pick your cue.
No, I understand.
But yes, they tell you that kind of thing. Like if you like this, you'll like that.
Right.
Got one person in the live. Why don't you drop a comment? Who's hanging out? Tell us who's here. Tell me what that first whiff you get is.
Pine-ish.
Maybe a little bit of cannabis?
Yeah, maybe.
Let it air, then smell it again, right? Because the first whiff
wasn't.
and
you gotta let it blossom. You gotta let it bloom.
You get a little bit of. There's a little bit of weed extract out of it.
Okay.
And then it has like grapefruit and a couple other things, but interesting. I'm not sure. It's growing on me.
Right.
I like it more. When I first sprayed, I wasn't into it at all, and for the first few minutes, it has a little bit of a feminine smell to it.
It's got a very punchy start.
Yeah. And then as I had it on and went through about another hour or so of my day and then went back to smell myself when my, like, oils mixed with it.
Your fragrance mixed in.
When my pheromones fucking mixed in with it, it grew on me and I kind of liked it a little more. I don't know if I would buy a whole bottle.
There was a lady at a job that I used to work at in an office when we used to do things like that. And she smelled unfucking believable every day.
Yeah.
And then one day I just went and I asked her, like, what is that scent? Because it's fucking incredible.
It's driving me crazy.
Yeah. And she told me what it was. And so I went to look into it, like, to get it for my wife or whatever.
Yeah.
Does not smell anything like what she smelled like. It was just a combination of whatever oils she was washing or whatever soap she was using, and then that cologne on top of it.
Yep. So it's all right.
Perfume.
They market it as, like, fucking made with cannabis, so they're trying to get those dorks who fucking will do anything that says it has CBD in it.
Yeah. And then
you know what I mean?
So let me put on cologne that makes me smell like I'm fucking
that was
smoking
my
weed.
thought, right?
So then when I get pulled over by the cops and they're like, well, now we have fucking reasonable suspicion.
Yeah. But it doesn't smell like you were smoking weed.
No,
it just has
a hint.
Just a hint of reefer in there.
Yeah, like you might have been bagging some up before you left the house.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's just check off some things here.
All right. Let's run through these bullet points.
We did Philly Rewind.
We did.
We gave our PSAs.
We
talked about fucking Big Cuss. We talked about Big Body Bess. Okay, here's another quick one.
All right.
I got a new sneaker cleaning ritual.
Okay.
So I've been trying not to spend because we're going on vacation, right?
Sure.
So I've been trying to keep my spending tight. Now, that being said, I bought Steph a new pair of sneakers. Pair of white-on-white Hirachis.
Yep.
Bought Monkey a new pair of sneakers because we were in the mall and her flip-flop broke.
Okay.
So she got lucky and got a new pair of Hirachis, too.
Oh, there you go. Matching mom.
Yeah. She broke her $1 flip-flops and then got a $70 pair of fucking sneakers. So
she broke them on purpose.
I tried to get her to white-on-white so that she could match Mommy, but she wasn't going for it.
That's not a good move for her anyway. Those white-on-whites are going to be white-on-white for about 15 minutes, and then they're going to be gray-on-gray.
Yeah, I know. So I've been trying not to spend, so my thought was, well, let me
freshen them up,
my collection.
Yeah.
Because I have some joints in there that, like, don't get any wear because they're pretty beat. Now, I started talking to, my sneaker aficionado stylist.
Right.
Who said, you could get the fucking Mark Jacks or John Jacks or Mark Jones or whoever this fucking guy's name is who makes a sneaker cleaner.
Cleaning product.
Or you can go with Reshoevn8or. Either or, they're both pretty good. Said, all right, start looking. Reshoevn8or wants like $50 for a fucking kit. You could get like the executive kit that's like $120.
Comes with the brush and the bucket and everything.
Bunch of fucking shit.
Yeah.
And then the other one was like $15 or $20, but all it had was the cleaner and a brush.
Okay.
Right? So I'm like, I need something in the middle here.
Right.
You
need some of the extra supplies, but not all.
Yeah. So what I did was I went to Dollar General and built my own sneaker cleaning kit.
Smart.
Bought a couple lingerie bags that you can tuck the shoe in and then throw them in the washer.
Cleaner bags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought OxyClean spray.
Okay.
Clear detergent, a scrub brush, and that might be it.
Did you do baking soda?
Magic eraser.
Okay.
Okay.
The melamine.
So most of the stains come out with the brush and the OxyClean, and then you throw them in the washer just to kind of top it off.
Get it all done, yep.
I've got sneaks that I thought were long gone that now came back and are full-fledged pairs that I could just wear wherever I'm going. Now, there's some the other thing was that you mentioned to me last week is that you saw somebody dealing with the bottoms of their boosts.
Right.
Because they yellow, which is very true.
Fast.
My shits are so dry today.
I'm glad you brought the giant bottle with you then.
Me too, because I'd be fucked without it right now. So the boosts start to yellow on the bottom.
Right.
So I wound up cleaning the boosts, throwing them through the washer, and then taking painter's tape and taping off everything but the white bottom and then spraying it with Flex Seal.
Flex Seal.
And they've come out looking brand spanking new.
Yeah.
Fucking perfect.
Yeah, I saw that. I told you I saw that on somebody's YouTube channel, and they were pissed about the yellowing, and that's what they did. They taped them up, and they didn't use specifically the Flex Seal, but it's the same thing. And I constantly fucking forget the name of it.
Yeah.
But it's the spray paint that turns into rubber once it dries.
Well,
that
that's
people
what
use
this
it for
is.
their cars and everything.
Yeah, I don't know how well you can see these on the camera, but they look fucking brand new.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that one frayed piece of string, you wouldn't even know.
You didn't see a frayed piece of string.
The one. It was like the loop was up. I mean, I'm not even making a joke or complaining. They look almost brand new.
Oh, like right here.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
You
I'll fix
gotta
it.
throw them out.
I'll fix it. So that's my new sneaker cleaner routine. So now I have I'm working my way through the whole collection. Very soon I will have a full collection of 40 different wearable sneakers.
40 different brand new shoes.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. I'll be packing more shoes for Georgia than clothes.
I'm relatively new to sneaker collecting, comparatively to like your haberdasher and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And I went quick, so I have enough shoes right now that when I keep my rotation proper, nothing's gotten dirty enough for me to have to reconsider.
Yeah.
Painting them.
Well,
and
at some
cleaning them.
point it will.
At some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you have a wide selection, but also here's the other thing is that I get into a pair, like a couple of certain pairs, and I want to wear that pair a lot, and I run them into the ground, and then they need a refreshment. But now that they're all fresh, I can cycle through so many things, so we'll stay a little bit cleaner longer.
And still to this day, the Ultra Boosts are the most comfortable.
Oh, they're the fucking greatest.
Most comfortable I bought by far.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I'm trying to think if there's anything that comes close.
These 2090s come kind of close, and I do have a pair of the Hirachis that are.
Hirachis are good.
But just the ones that are all like like the spandex material, like not the ones with the leather.
Yeah.
They're comfortable, but not like the Ultra Boosts.
Yeah, like the Stussy ones that I got.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're comfortable. They're not Ultra Boost. NMDs are, they're basically an Ultra Boost.
I have a pair. I like them. I hate them because they don't come with an insert. Like, I don't know if they do now, if the newer generations do, but when I bought my NMDs and there's no, like, insert inside the sneaker, I was like, I fucking got ripped off. Reebok forgot to put them, or Adidas forgot to put them in there.
Doesn't feel good. Yeah.
No, it feels weird because they have a hex pattern on them.
Yeah.
So like when you put your foot down, you can feel the pattern, and I'm like, there should be something else here.
Yeah.
But no, apparently not.
Yeah, I like the NMDs. I like the boosts. I want to get those Vapor waffles, the newer ones
The
that are like
or the Vapor Maxes.
The Sakai's.
Okay.
There's a newer one that's like a white and black pattern that I like, but also I'm not buying sneakers right now. So,
Yeah. Plus, you're gonna pay $400 or $500 for those if you find them.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not gonna do that.
No.
I pay my sneakers like if I pay more than 120, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I have a collection. I don't have a high-end collection. No. I have a collection that I've curated that I like.
That you like.
That goes with my style.
That's all it has to be. It's not about paying a lot of money. It's about having the sneakers that you like.
Yeah, I could give a shit about like what's hot. Usually, what's hot doesn't strike me as something I'm into.
No, because it's usually the weirdest of the choices. Like it's not just a different colored dunk. It's something like even the Sakai's with like the double sole on the back of them, and they have two tongues in the sneaker. It's like.
It's a weird shoe.
I have a pair, so I'm not totally against them, but it's a weird shoe.
Yeah.
It's a real fucking weird shoe, especially the one sole, the bottom sole of the two, like it's got two soles on it.
Uh-huh.
The bottom sole yellows like the boosts, and the other sole does not. So now I have like four-tone shoes.
Well, there you go. Now you know the trick on how to fucking get them un-yellow.
Yeah.
Plasty dip it. Yeah.
Yep.
My sneaker style I feel is like very European.
You're very traditional. Your colors go a little outside the realm every now and again, but you don't have a lot of weird silhouettes. You have the classic silhouettes for the most part.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty European with it.
Okay.
Diodoras.
Right.
Sauconys.
Asics. New Balance.
Yeah, New Balance.
Yeah,
what am I wearing? And Adidas. I'm wearing Adidas right now. Like, I don't have too many Nikes. I got a couple. I'm lying. I got some Nikes.
I got a couple Jordans and a couple Dunks.
I have one pair of Jordans. They are like a gym Jordan.
Okay.
That only ever get any play if I'm going to play basketball.
If you're actually going to shoot the rock.
Yeah. That's the only time they come out because I don't mind fucking scuffing them up.
Right.
And playing ball in them. Apparently I'm heavy on the divorce attorney circuit.
Oh, all right. Well,
You know, my name is in a lot of divorce attorneys' mouths right now.
How does that work?
All right.
What?
I'm gonna tell you like this,
Okay.
bro. How does it work? I don't know how it got there, but I got a call today, and she's like, "Hey, is this Sean?" I'm like, "Yeah. How you doing? What could I do for you?"
All right.
"Hey, this is Kimberly Stewart. I got your name from so and so Phillips, the divorce attorney." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I said, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know who that is. I'm sure that I did something for him.
Right.
But I deal with a lot of
Did
people.
you work on his house or something like that? Yeah.
Usually if I work on their house, it's a name that I remember.
Yeah.
It's the fucking moving shit that
Okay.
I just meet these people for 5 minutes and then they're gone.
Right. Okay.
So I usually I catch a first name and that's it. So she's like, "Yeah, no, he recommended you. I'm getting divorced from my husband and I need some help getting the stuff from the house."
Okay.
So I'm like, "All right, great. Yeah, I can help you." But again,
I thought different divorce attorneys were calling you to see if you were interested in their services.
no. But again, who is this guy and how does he know me?
Right.
I have no idea. I don't know.
It's not important. He's putting your name out in the streets.
Yeah. So apparently business is about to start booming with divorcees.
Well, everybody's been cooped up for the last year and a half, and then they say absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
So you spent the last year and a half on top of each other, and you
the
really
heart's growing
fucking hate
less
each other.
fond. Yeah. Well, I know that. So lately it's been me and Sammy, a.k.a. Kareem, Mr. Kareem,
Okay.
who have been doing moving jobs. We haven't had one for a while because I just haven't been
You just
taking
haven't
calls.
been looking for him. Yeah.
And Mr. Kareem is fit like I'm fit,
Okay.
except he's a older black gentleman, about 50 years old, built like he's 23.
All right.
Right? So I think that's why we're probably kind of heavy in the divorcee realm, is because you got two like buff dudes coming to move shit for you. You got your choice. You like the brothers? Mr. Kareem's here. You like a little lighter tone?
We're out here
you
too.
can come look at me, you know? So as long as it's paying the bills, I'll be a piece of meat. I don't care. If this all works out, I'm going to start an OnlyFans where I just move shit.
Just move stuff with your shirt off. We're going to put this bureau on the other side of the room.
Yeah, and see how that fucking plays. There's a OnlyFans documentary on Netflix right now. Did you watch it?
I did not yet. I will have to look
I
into
caught
it.
pieces of it. I was, me and fucking movies.
Yeah, you love to sit down and watch some movies.
Yeah, it's called sleep. It's called going to sleep. So I caught some pieces of it when Steph was watching it, but it seemed kind of relatively interesting.
Do you I know you're not heavy into the cinema, but like, do you have certain movies that you could put on a million different times and fall asleep to them every time, like on purpose? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, every movie. Any movie, I guarantee, any movie I can put on and I will fall. There's not a movie that can keep me awake.
I don't mean
very few.
I don't mean it like that. So there's two movies for me that, like, if it's getting really late and I just can't fall asleep, I will put on My Cousin Vinny or My Blue Heaven.
Right.
And I will lay down and just go. I love the movies. Like, I know every word of the movies, but I will put it on and I will lay down and I will be out like a light 15 minutes later. Also, Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 13 do the same thing for me. Because I know those movies so well that I don't have to be looking at the screen. Yeah. I can just listen to it and then just go to drift off to sleep. Yeah.
So at different times in my relationship, because before Steph, I didn't fall asleep to TV.
Okay.
It was strictly radio. Yeah, I've been a radio guy since I was, I don't know. I didn't have a TV in my room growing up.
Same.
So I became a listen to the radio guy.
Yep. Which
is where this whole dream starts to unfold from.
Sure. I used to go to bed listening to Larry King.
I used to actually this is weird. This is kind of weird, right? But I remember being a kid and feeling like upset about whatever it might have been.
Right.
Right? And feeling like I should call Chio in the morning.
Sure.
Because he would talk to me about my problems.
I need some help, Chio.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
So
let me turn down this dance music and find out what this 12-year-old needs.
Yeah, right. Talk this preteen out of a out of a life crisis.
He just called collect from the prison.
From a collect call from Jamesburg facility. What the fuck is a Jamesburg?
Just real quick, it's irrelevant. But last week you were talking about Jamesburg.
Yeah.
Because it was a threat that was on the table. If you fuck up here, you're gonna have to go to Jamesburg.
Yeah.
And I know what Jamesburg is, but like I've never been near it.
Right.
Like not from a legal sense, but just physically, I've never driven in that area.
Right.
So I went to that dinosaur thing,
and
you passed Jamesburg on the way to it. And I'm like,
the building Jamesburg.
I don't know if it was the building,
but
I got the Jamesburg 2 miles this way sign as I'm passing by. I've never fucking seen that sign before in my life, and now.
Well, there's a Jamesburg exit off of the turnpike.
Off the turnpike.
Cranberry Jamesburg. It's exit 8. And I just know because it's fucking Jamesburg.
Because you've been there.
Yeah. So, what the fuck was I saying?
So you were
Chio in the morning, falling asleep.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, I before Steph, I fell asleep to the radio.
Yeah.
Which now I don't know if I could fall asleep to the radio.
It's like porn. Like once you see the next thing, you can't go back to the first thing. Your brain's too far gone.
Yeah. Well, actually, so if Steph's gone for the night, whatever, or
you
whatever,
shut the lights out and just go to sleep to the radio.
No, I put on either trains.
Okay.
Or a nice mountain stream.
Snow falling in the
snowy
forest,
scene.
Yeah.
Stuff that's not like actual entertainment, just quiet noise in the background.
Just comforting noises, ASMR type stuff.
Yeah, but at different times we have had different movies that were like the go to sleep movie.
Yeah.
I remember Elf was one of them.
Okay.
Early in the relationship was Elf.
So the relationship started at like around Christmas time, hopefully?
It did.
Okay.
It did. And that's the only one that I remember, but I know that there were others. I just fell asleep, and I don't remember what they were.
Okay.
So, yeah, I could fall asleep to any movie.
No, I got that part.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. There's not a particular one that I put on to fall asleep. To fall asleep, I will put on...
a movie. Anything.
I will put on a nice nature scene.
Right.
Or the Chicago Metro train.
Okay.
Driving through...
Just listening to the squeaky brakes and they're running over the tracks and whatnot.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So, that's that. Divorce attorneys. I'm heavy in the divorce attorney circuit right now. Now, there's a couple of fucking internet beefs going on currently.
I love internet beef because it's so fucking vapid.
So, one we've discussed, and I don't want to touch too heavy on that one because it's... I'm involved somewhat. You know, I'm in the middle of it.
Yeah, I won't pick sides. I won't talk about it beyond... just saying this. Chris Rock does a whole bit about he's got to get married because he doesn't want to be the old guy in the club.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the person that's way out of your age group doing things that this younger age group is doing because you're never going to look right doing them.
Yeah.
And this particular beef that we're talking about really feels like that. Two grown-ass adults that are coming at each other like they're 20-year-old kids.
Yeah.
And it just looks dumb from every angle.
Doesn't look good for anyone.
Right. There's not a conclusion to this where you go, oh, okay, everything's great now. Like it just looks like old people acting like young people.
Yeah. I concur. I don't think any beefing on the internet is I don't think any of it, I just don't think it's a good look. I think that, and I've said this to you, I've said it to them, the last beef that I had 10 years ago as a fucking 25-year-old man, I didn't tell anybody.
Right.
A thing happened. I felt that the only way to solve it was with some fisticuffs, and I told nobody that was my decision.
Well, that's how it has to be. If it's going to come to that, you can't prep the other person for it, even if they're up for the fight. You don't want them to know it's coming. I'm not saying you sucker punch them, but you want to just be on the scene like, okay, we're fighting today, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't wear the right pants.
Yeah, no,
and now you're fighting with him.
I mean, he should have knew that it was coming. By the things that he did, he should have known
he was setting himself up.
He should have knew that me shaking his hand was not a real fucking handshake.
Right, but so that's the thing. Again, we're not digging into this whole thing because it's not ours to dig into.
Yeah.
But maybe he honestly didn't know. Maybe that's just like that's the way he rolls, and that's how he would have talked to anyone. And he wasn't singling you out when he did whatever he did. Perhaps, and I don't know the scenario.
No, he fucked my girlfriend.
Oh well, never mind.
You know, so
That's pretty.
You had to kind of know.
That's pretty direct.
Yeah, in my apartment. You kind of.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
You kind of had to know that I wasn't gonna just let that one slide.
At that point, the left hook to the eye is just the toll that you got to pay for getting over that bridge.
That's it. And I didn't really want to fight the kid, but also, like I had to.
You got to placate your ego.
Yeah,
you can't be out in the streets
here.
letting this happen, and then now people know that it lets it happen, and now we're all fucking Sean's girlfriend.
Right,
yeah.
right. But the thing, and whatever, she was a fucking dirtbag anyway, but.
Thank goodness you weren't.
It was less about her and more about
your
the level of disrespect that this kid would fucking
and it's about
put on me.
It's about your ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but I say that to say is like I didn't say like, oh, wait till I see this dude.
Right.
Actually, as a matter of fact, one of the parties involved in this other beef, I had posted like something alluding to the fact that I really hated this kid.
Okay.
And the dude was like, hit me on a message real quick. He's like, yeah, it's not a good look. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Let me pull that down. Pulled it off and then waited till I saw him in a club. Waited the whole night. I didn't have a drink, nothing, right?
just drinking water and cracking your knuckles.
Look, and he's getting hammered.
Taking off your necklace.
Yeah, he's getting fucking blitzed, right? And he's with a kid who looks like he could be a cage fighter.
Okay.
Right? But he's getting hammered drunk. And I'm like, you dumb fuck. Right? I'm like, I'm not having a drink. I'm not smoking no joints.
Didn't you see me hiding in the corner totally straight edge tonight?
I fucking shook his hand and shit when he came into the club, whatever. But I had my eye on him all night, right? I was so preoccupied. This was my only goal this fucking night.
You were sketching out the plan the whole time.
I wasn't talking to no girls.
Right.
I wasn't trying to fucking politic. Like, my whole fucking mindset was like, I just got to keep my eye on him because he can't leave without me knowing that he's leaving.
Right.
Yeah. So when he leaves, I grabbed the biggest guy I could find, who was Choice. I don't know if you know Choice.
I don't know if I do.
Choice is probably about like 6'5".
Okay.
And a solid 300.
So he was there to take care of the cage fighter.
Well, that's what I said to him.
At least be a buffer for you.
Yeah. I said, look, I was like, as soon as I see fucking DuckSauce leave, I'm like, I go grab Choice. Or maybe I told him earlier in the night or whatever. I was like, look, he's got a fucking dude who looks like he could be a cage fighter with him. I need you to just make sure he doesn't jump in.
Just wall him off.
I don't need you to hop in and start fighting.
Right.
You just keep this a fucking fair fight.
Right. Keep this a one-on-one and we're good.
Choice like a fucking G, and he'll have my fucking loyalty to the end for it. Didn't fucking second guess it. He was like, all right, I got you. Just let me know.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, bet. So now I got fucking the biggest house on the fucking block on my side. Kid fucking, he's getting drunk all night. I see him start shaking hands, and I'm like, all right,
he's getting ready to
bet. Leave. I don't remember if he shook my hand to say peace or not or whatever. So now I'm running around the club looking for Choice. Right? And I find him, and I'm like, come on, let's go. Choice fucking, all right, let's go. And he follows me, and I'm kind of slow. I'm following kid down the block. He turns the next block around the corner from the club, so now nobody in front of the club sees what's going on.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, DuckSauce. He was like, oh, Cove, what's up?
Hey, buddy.
What's up, dude?
So, real quick, do you think, or do you know, at this point in time, does he know that you know that he fucked your girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay. He 100% knows this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And like a fucking half a retard, he's like, hey, bud, what's up, man?
Hey, bro.
And starts walking towards me like I think he said something like, oh, my bad, I didn't say peace to you. Something like that, right? Like,
I forgot to say goodbye.
I'm like, nah, fuck that. And then then all the fucking anger just arose in me.
Boiled up.
And that was it. And I'm like, nah, fuck that. And fuck you. And he's like caught off guard. But I'm talking filthy as I'm walking over to him. So, like, you got to see that this fucking aggression is here, right?
Right. Something. It sounds like, and again, I'm not there. It sounds like he's not prepared for this and surprised by it.
He was surprised
that you have this venom for him.
Yeah.
Which is weird on one hand, but on the other hand, I don't know the girl. So, like, if this is a girl who's got a history of being a whore, like,
well, she does.
He might not have thought, like, somebody's going to be furious that I treated a whore like a whore.
Well, she does have a history, but also at the time, she was my live-in girlfriend, and we had a fucking apartment together.
Right.
So
I understand.
And
I'm not trying to make excuses for him. All I'm trying to do is get to that point where like he sees you face to face, and the last thing on his mind seems to be, this guy probably wants to cold cock me.
Yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't think that, because the whole reason that he even met the girl was because he knew me.
Okay.
Right? So it's even worse. Like, you went through me to fucking do this.
You were the liaison.
Yeah. So I'm like, yo, whatever, you fucking fuck you.
Right.
And I cock back and fucking throw a wild haymaker at him that if he was half sober, he probably could have just fucking ducked it. Yeah. But he wasn't. He just watched it come into his face.
Because he was drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I nail him in his face, and he's got a chain link fence behind him, so he flies
bounce
back
off of it and come back to you,
and bounces back, and I just
shot him again,
like three shots, because he like kind of was falling down,
right?
So I caught him with like uppercut hooks, and then 3 shots was enough. As he falls onto his ass, I see that he's leaking out of his big old fucking nose, his big old Dago nose.
Mission accomplished.
And I'm like, all right, I feel better about this.
We're even now.
And his fucking boy didn't do a goddamn thing. Didn't try and step in. Didn't try. Just fucking watched it happen like a fucking dummy.
Just like Choice did. Well, no, just like Choice did. Like, okay, it's a fair one. We don't need to get involved. These two are fighting.
Yeah, that could be true too. But
you didn't pull out a weapon. Choice didn't jump in to help you out when it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
So they just let it happen.
And then so that was that. And then I was happy with it. Then the kid calls Screw. He's like, yo, he's pissed
What's up with your boy?
Yeah, he's mad at Screw because he thinks Screw gave me the green light to do it. Screw's like, bro, I didn't know he was going to do it, but also, you fucked his girl. You should have knew he was going to do it.
I don't, I had no problems with Screw, but is Screw a street general that he's giving
well, that's
permission?
Yeah, that's like that's the other shit. Is like, you thought I'm going to go ask Screw if I could punch you in the face?
Let me double check with my rapper buddy and see what's what.
Yeah, dude.
First of all, he's a rapper. He's going to be for the violence no matter what.
Yeah. So Screw's like, well, asshole, what did you think was going to come of this? Like, I told you that you're a fucking jerk off as soon as I found out. I told you this was a bad move. You fucking, you know what I mean?
Well, it's not always the case. Perhaps you earned this one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But that's the other thing with the internet beef, too, versus what you're talking about, is it almost always feels like when you go out with a group of friends and the fight is breaking out, and the big guys are in the front, and there's always a guy in the back that's continuing to try to ratchet up.
Yeah.
That's the internet beef, is the guy in the back that's always trying to ratchet it up, because at the end of the day, he's probably never going to come face to face with you anyway.
Yeah, he's behind the fucking line.
He's behind the wall. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I told I wound up in the mix of this of our friends beef. Yeah,
involved, and you're amicable with everybody, at least at a baseline you're amicable with them.
I feel honored that it was brought to me as like, hey, sorry to keep doing this, but here's the situation. I can't stand by and let this happen. And I said, yeah, I understand that, but also we're all looking like idiots out here, so let's fucking figure out a way to not look like idiots,
like a
doing
bunch
all
of 30-year-old 20-year-olds.
Let's like because nobody else cares.
No.
So either yous are gonna like handle it how you want to handle it.
There's not going to be a versus between these two people.
Yeah, like, so either you square up and get busy if that's absolutely necessary, which I don't really think it is in this case.
It's not, because for my money, they don't cross paths that much. So if you don't cross paths that much in the first place, just stay the fuck away from each other and just say we're not peoples anymore, and that's that.
Yeah. And I don't think that anything, and I don't know either, right? Like, I'm not.
I understand. There's probably more to it, and probably more to it on both sides. And again, I'm not picking sides or saying anybody is particularly wrong, but just in general, you're fucking grown men now at this point. Just fucking let it go.
Nothing I saw was worth violence.
No.
But again, I'm not here to tell another man how to live his life unless he asks.
Yeah.
And if he asks, I'll give him my 2 cents, and I'm not going to judge whether he follows my I've learned a long time ago that you can give advice, but then that's it. You know what I mean? I'm still going to let you, you're going to respond how you want to respond, and that's fine too.
You can bring a horse to water.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. You can bring a horse to water. There's another, I call him an associate of the gig.
Oh, boy.
He's a good man.
Okay.
Allegedly. Allegedly, he's a good man.
God-fearing man.
Yeah, but he's out here wilding on the internet.
Okay, well, if this is the person I believe that
Absolutely it is.
it's his only fucking move is to while on the internet.
Yeah.
I've never seen him not whiling on the internet.
But now he's got me and fucking 39 other people tagged in a post where he's just talking filthy. Did you get tagged in that post?
I did. I got tagged in at least one of them. Yeah. So I know this person.
Yeah.
I have interacted with them in the past.
Yeah.
They're a fascinating person.
Absolutely.
And I have actually at one point in time attempted to like be in their company, like sit down, let's sit down at the diner and just bullshit for a little bit. But yeah, he's very big on the attention that he can get. But also the turn of it is, if you look at the YouTube channel, which episode of which show has the most views by fucking far.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, his technique works for
away.
attention.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But also at the same time, like, I'm tempted to, and I said something like, yo, you're looking out of pocket right now.
Yeah.
I don't think that any of my advice or any of my words will be listened to.
No.
But it's just such a like, bro, this is not a good look for you. I understand you're going through these I understand when a man feels like he's been disrespected.
Sure.
And has that feeling like, I got to do something. And maybe you do have to do something.
You don't.
That something is never talking filthy on the internet.
No.
For somebody to see.
That's the last good idea, because at the very least
it's the first bad idea.
It's permanent.
Yeah.
At the very least, it's permanent. So if you do it and you wake up tomorrow and you're like, fuck, I was incredibly fucking high last night and I did not mean one of those words.
They're
already engraved in stone.
Yeah.
It's too fucking late.
Yeah.
I saw him have beef with your haberdasher, and they were good friends.
Yeah.
And I watched like the back and forth unfold, and one of these people was talking like an adult, and the other person like just couldn't get off of it. There was a bunch of opportunities to just get off the road and just be like, okay,
yeah,
this happened and we'll just squash this. But a good man wanted to stay on that fucking highway and drive as fast as he could till the other guy just said, you know what, I just don't fucking talk to you anymore, and that's it.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
That's the only way to deal with it. I just can't. I can't ever see myself being sucked into a back and forth.
I have been, but then like I don't go too deep because I catch on and I'm like, wait.
Yeah, I'm not doing this.
I am not fucking doing this. I'm backing out, and that's that. No matter how much that other person like, oh, what happened? Where's your answer? What are you going to say now? No,
nothing.
No, I got nothing.
No,
because I'm not going to spend 25 more fucking minutes hovering over my phone waiting for Facebook alerts.
You always look more thorough by not
just
responding.
Walking out the door.
Like, oh, it's the idea of like, this isn't worth my time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I got way more important shit going on.
I got shit to do. I don't need to sit here and bicker with you, because you're never going to come to me, and I'm never going to come to you as far as seeing each other's point.
Right.
Like, once you know that part, once you know, okay, this conversation isn't going to be constructive no matter what we do, I'm done. There's no fucking point.
Yeah. So I've been sucked in. Not even sucked in, right? I've been addressed by a stranger about business in kind of a aggressive manner, right?
Like a bad Yelp review?
No, like when I was pushing 7-1 transportation on like a couple of yard sale sites, somebody started talking filthy about movers that charge by the hour. You should never trust a guy that charges by the hour. Just for anybody who's seeing this, like, they'll charge you by the hour and then stretch it out and like just start shitting on me when all I was doing was just advertising, right? So I'm like, look, okay, I could say nothing, or I could like address this,
right? Because
this is now my advertisement. So somebody sees this, they're gonna see that. I have to say
you have to,
something.
You have to chip away at it a little bit. For that, I mean, your moving business hourly rate makes all the fucking sense in the world.
Absolutely.
And all you got to do is say, look, it's an hourly rate. You're with me the whole, like you as the purchaser are with me the whole time, right? So you know exactly how long it took. We can't argue over a clock. And then I'm done, and then you pay me, and I go on.
Right.
Because you don't want to pay me for 5 hours, and then it takes 2 hours to do the job, and that's that.
Right.
Right? And that's all you got to say, but, some of these people want to drag you the fuck down.
Well, he just was a fucking angry dude, one of these angry internet dudes. My response
Probably
to him,
divorced.
It was like, maybe that's where he found me. I said to him, I'm like, look, here's the deal with this, right? This is a secondary business for me. I'm not getting rich at $50 an hour, which is what I'm charging.
Right.
And I'm charging that lightly and hourly because all I'm trying to do is get my name out here right now. This is a new thing to me. I'm just trying to get heard.
Right.
And
this is your business card now.
And I guarantee, like, I work super hard. And whatever it was, I left it on, like, I wish a whole bunch of success to you, pal.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, not even, I don't even think I put a pal. It was like, I wish you the best of luck with whatever you're into.
I saw one, like, what you're gunning for, and it's perfect, and it's short, and it's sweet, and it's, may you have the day you deserve, and then bounce, and that's it.
I didn't even do that. I didn't even give him, it was all positive. It was all.
Well, that can be construed as positive.
Yeah, but it can. But you also know what you're doing there.
Yeah, of course.
I see what you're saying, and that's fine. But I just went all. I didn't even like address that it was a negative thing.
Right.
Like, much success to you, whatever it was. Underneath of that, like, there was a couple more comments that were just whatever, and then maybe 4 or 5 people hit me. They were like, that dude was an asshole. You handled that like
a gentleman.
Had went out of their way. People I have no idea who they are to message me and just say, like, that was really a very classy way to deal with it, because that dude was being an asshole.
Right.
So now, not only do I fucking look like I got class, because that's what I'm shooting for here, babe.
Yeah.
I want to look like I got class and muscles. You know what I mean? That's it. And not only do I now look classier and look above his fucking dumb shit.
Okay.
But now I have 4 or 5 conversations with potential clients open that started out with them admiring me.
And you know that if anybody else stumbles onto this, they're probably going to come to the same conclusion.
Same thing, right?
Like, oh, let me see what this guy's all about. Oh, look, he doesn't go down to
He's
the
not
level.
a fucking douche.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the idea, is like, you just don't address it. You let the bullshit. This is not. Now, we talked about this a week or 2 ago that, the internet is now the real world, but still, it's not the real world.
No.
You know what I mean? Because nobody fucking talks like that to each other in real life.
No, nobody has the courage.
No.
And nobody has the courage. It's real easy. Again, it's real easy to be standing behind your lineman saying whatever the fuck you want, but once the linemen are gone, what are you going to do?
Yeah. So, whatever. I hate to see it. I hate to see... I think a lot of people get involved in the anger of the internet because they've never really been in real life dangerous situations where talking filthy is a real life dangerous situation.
Well, that's Letterkenny. So the show Letterkenny, one of the angles on the show is they're always trying to find out who the toughest guy in town is. So they will just square up and bare knuckle box.
Right.
And the toughest guy in town is like one of the main guys on the show. And always when there's people coming around trying to start a fight, his thought process is, you might not want to get in a fight had you ever been in a real fight.
Right.
And that's exactly right. It's a whole bunch of people who've never been in a real fight thinking that they want to be in a fight.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to.
No.
You just don't want to,
No.
you know what I mean?
No good comes from it no matter what. Even if you win, you're still the fucking guy in the fight.
You're still a jerk off who's out here fighting.
You wrestle with a pig and you both wind up with mud.
That's it. How do you feel about the translators being stuck in Afghanistan?
I feel terrible about it. I feel terrible about the entirety of the situation. And it's bad.
Yeah.
But we should have never been there. No question.
Yeah.
Once we're there, there's only one sort of approach that's going to work, and it's basically to stay there forever. Because we have to know, we have enough military intelligence to know the minute we leave, this is all going to start over again.
It's all going to fall apart.
It's all going to fall apart. So, and we're all in agreement that we had to leave.
Yeah.
So there's no smooth exit to this no matter what. And there were some other things about it that were handled very poorly. In fact, maybe divisively poorly. But none of this is good. But to leave, none of it was ever going to be good. There wasn't going to be oh, thanks for coming, guys. Have a good day. We're going to continue to run as a nice little democracy here and hang out for what? No, it was always going to go to shit as soon as we walked away.
Yeah. And I think my thought, particularly in the situation of like the translators or Afghan citizens who worked with the U.S.? Because now they're probably who is in the greatest danger.
They're in the greatest danger, and they're so when you're here in Afghanistan, right, we get into a war once again where we're getting to a war over ideals, right? It's not a war like World War II because this country is doing some dumb shit and we got to push them back.
Yeah.
It's a war because, quite frankly, not to minimize, we don't like the way they think.
Right.
And you can't fucking wage a war on we don't like the way they think, especially if the way they think is you're a bunch of imperial assholes that keep fucking with us.
Yeah.
Right? Because now you have all of these, the translators, all of these military people who worked side by side with America, and they're like, hey, these guys aren't so bad. Maybe everything I've been taught was wrong. Maybe it was, just one of those cases where they're just trying to hype us up. And then you fucking disappear and they're getting killed left and right. You're radicalizing them. You're putting them in that same mindset of the fucking other people who are like, fuck America and these imperialist assholes.
Yeah.
The minute they had the chance to leave, they left, and they left us with our dicks out, and what the fuck are we supposed to do now? So all you're doing is perpetuating the reasons that you went in there in the first place, because you can't fucking go to war against an ideal.
Yeah. I think particularly in the situation of the translators, I guess it's sad, but also my thought process is, why did you trust the American government? Like, why did you trust, like, if China comes in, right, comes in, starts putting army bases all over America, the last thing that I'm going to do is go say, hey, how can I help you guys out?
Well, you say that, but you have to understand.
Guarantee it.
What? No, listen.
I'll fall quietly into place.
You're not going to internet beef with China?
Yeah.
So just hear me out for a second. You're painting that picture from the perspective that you have a good life and then China shows up. Understand that even in that situation, we were the lesser of the two evils, right? We were less evil than the Taliban. We were less controlling than the Taliban. So while we were definitely proving now that we were a shitty dance partner, we were a much fucking better dance partner than what they had before.
Right.
And that doesn't make us good. I'm not trying to like hype us up or anything, but you're asking a question from the perspective of everything was fine and then China showed up. No. You were getting fucking bombed out of your ass by Canada, and China showed up and they're like, hey, we can help you with this shit. And you're like, oh, good, because we fucking need help.
Yeah, but it still goes down to like, okay, we could use help. I'm going to be glad probably that China's here to stop Canada from bombing us.
Right.
But I'm going to carry on with my life
little bit of suspicion,
as is. Like, I'm not going to hop into bed with an invading government just because, like, I probably would be grateful as the fact that, like, thank God, like, and I don't know, because obviously I never lived in fucking Afghanistan and went through whatever they're going through out there.
Right.
But I'll be grateful for the American government to show up and stop whatever hell I was living in.
Right.
That doesn't mean they need volunteers to help them.
Of course.
Right? That doesn't mean that I'm going to volunteer, because I already know, this is common knowledge, is that even if I go over and help them, right, now the other side finds out, well, they're here, maybe I'm okay, maybe I'm not. Maybe they pick me off while I'm walking home to my house. This is adding danger to my life. My life has just become safer, and now I'm going into a situation where I'm making it more dangerous by basically sleeping with the enemy's enemy.
No, because so all of you're formulating your entire concept strictly on the distrust of government and people in power.
Yes.
Which I understand. And what you're saying is not totally wrong. But then there's another perspective, which is, okay, we've been dealing with this for years. These other bullies came in, and they want to punch our bullies in the mouth.
Yeah.
And the quicker we get them to do it and get the fuck out, the better off we're going to be. I mean, that's wrong, but it's a thought. It's a thought process.
Yeah.
Okay, here comes China to help us with Canada. The quicker we get this done and get them the fuck out of here, the better we can get to rebuilding our lives. So you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to be in danger, but in the long run, my daughter will be better off even if I take a bullet for this, because we're going to fucking clear this up and be done with it. So not everybody has that mentality, and I understand that, and there's nothing wrong with not having that mentality and saying, this is fucking China. They've done a whole bunch of shitty shit, and I see no reason that they won't continue to, and I get it.
Yeah.
But a lot of these people, a lot of the translators, a lot of the fighters, they're like, okay, if we work with these assholes right now, we can be done with these other assholes. And then they said they were going to just kind of fucking clean up the mess and leave. So let's at least give it a shot, because again, it's better than what we're doing right now.
Yeah. But they didn't
I
have
get
to.
it. Not everybody has to, and like I said, not everybody has that mentality. But it's all going to come down. Maybe it's a bunch of people who don't have a family anyway, and they're like, you know what, I might as well do something for the country. Or maybe it's just people who are just fucking, I got to protect my family, so if I volunteer, no one will expect them to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think in a situation of great danger like that, I just had this conversation with a friend. I'm
not a business associate.
I just want to keep him.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anonymous, because it kind of it hurts my heart a little bit.
Okay.
He's having a tough time. He was off of the shit and cleaned up for a while, and running a pretty damn successful business and like killing it.
Yeah.
Doing really good with life. He was doing really good. I think has a family, whatever. And now, kind of out of nowhere, not out of nowhere, I'm sure there were events that led to it. He hits me up and says, I'm in a fucked up spot.
Right.
Like, I'm kind of, it sounds crazy, but I'm like thinking about
hopping off the wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, I've been drinking and smoking and eating a pill or two here and there, like, so I'm not like all fucked up, but in my head, like, my head is all fucked up. And he also at one point was talking about selling drugs because business was going kind of south. And my response to him was like, I can't see putting my daughter at risk of losing her father.
Right.
For anything, whether that be the drugs and the idea that you might die because you use them, or selling drugs and the idea that you might get locked up, or in a situation like this, going to war with with whatever, and the idea that I might die at war. Like,
right.
The ultimate importance to me, since Sadie Girl was born, that has been of the utmost importance that she has a dad and she grows up with a father who loves her. So my only job is to keep her off the pole.
Sure. So let's get you on the couch now and let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Because I think in general, and not necessarily in this country, but overall in the world, we don't distinguish well enough between people who are heavy in drugs and people who are addicts, because there are both. And to me, you telling your life story and everything that went on, you don't sound like an addict. You sound like a person who took a lot of drugs, mostly to just cover up the pain and things like that. But you never really sound like an addict. None of your stories are like, and then I stabbed this guy and took his stash because I just wanted to get high.
Yeah.
It's always like, I was hiding from my mom and I was running from the cops and I took some Xanax so I could fall asleep, right? Like, you don't add up to being an addict. You add up to being a person who used drugs a lot. They can be different things. So
I agree.
So you got to a point where you had Sadie and some other things in your life were coming together. It wasn't perfect, but you were starting to feel like, okay, if I stay on this path, I can be a human being in society who's not just a fucking felon who goes in and out of jail.
Yeah.
So you said, okay, at this point, I'm not running from life anymore. I'm embracing it. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy I have a daughter. I'm happy I got a girl by my side, and everything is going decent. So I got to take this particular thing out of the routine, the drugs, because I'm going to risk the stuff that I like.
Yeah.
When you were heavy in the drugs, you didn't care. You didn't feel like you were risking anything. The worst thing was going to happen to you in your mind was you were going to wind up in a hotel on a bed getting fed 3 times a day, which apparently was better than when you were at home. So you don't present as an addict, But there are people who are an addict. And you had a conversation with me in the truck one time, and we were talking about you giving a friend advice. And you're like, okay, you're past the shits. You're done with this. But every now and then you can go back a little bit and you'll be okay, right? No, not for an addict. No. For somebody who's not an addict but is just heavy into drugs, yeah, you can go every now and then and get drunk. You can go every now and then and get high and still come back and go, hey, that was fun that Friday night, but that's not what I fucking do. I take care of my family. I run my business. If you're an addict, it's very fucking different in that situation. And if they're coming to you and telling you, I'm thinking I got to take drugs or I'm thinking I got to start drinking again, they're desperately asking for your help.
Yeah.
And it's because on some level, they can't control it.
Yeah.
You think they can because you're not them and you're not of that mindset. But the drugs are a priority for them. When you're an alcoholic, you're an alcoholic. That's it. And the rest of your life, when you decide that you got to get it together, if you do get to that point, the rest of your life is fighting off returning to that. Not avoiding it because you don't need it, avoiding it because if you go near it, you're fucked. So this person's life has taken an unfortunate twist, and it's sliding down to this place where the only thing that they want to do is escape, but they know the minute they jump onto that train the first time, they're on for the ride again. It's not like they can just get high once and then be like, all right, I gotta get my mind cleared and get my shit together. So you're living to protect your daughter. You're living to build your house. You're living to build your business or transition to another money-making endeavor.
Whichever one that might be this week.
Whatever works. That's fine. But the drugs never really come up for you. Like you don't, I'm assuming from talking to you, you never really wake up in the morning and be like, I got to get high today before I go to work because otherwise I'm not going to be able to cope with today. You might think, oh, I'm going to go to the job site and it's going to be a fucking pain in the ass because this guy's going to be there and I got to fight with him and that. But you don't seem like you wake up and go, I better have a few beers on the way to the job site so I can be calmer when I get there and handle things correctly.
No.
Whereas an addict is thinking that way. They're always fighting it off. So when you talk about, I want to protect my daughter and I want to do everything for her, and you can't understand somebody who would still take drugs after they had a kid, you're coming from a very different fucking perspective than they are.
Yeah, but I believe that at a point I was I don't think I'm an addict right now.
Right.
You know, without a doubt, I don't think that you stay an addict.
No, that's the thing. You do. You stay an addict, and not all, because I'm not trying to diminish it, but if you're an addict, you're an addict. And your job becomes managing that and coping with that and keeping it off to the side.
No.
There's no like, okay, you've been diagnosed as an addict, and then 20 months later, after a lot of rehab and a lot of jogging and a lot of lifting weights, okay, you're not an addict anymore. You're good. Go get on your way. That's not how that works. It's depending on who you believe, it's either a mindset or a chemical imbalance or something's just triggered off in your brain. And there is not therapy to just like, okay, let's fix that chemical imbalance unless you're taking another drug to cope with the drugs that you don't want to take.
Yeah, I think it winds up coming into, I think the idea is that you buy into I am an addict forever. And I never bought into that.
Because you weren't an addict. because you weren't an addict.
I think anybody has the ability to listen. I was the strung outest of the strung out.
Yeah.
Like I was.
But that doesn't make you an addict.
You don't wind up shooting speedballs at fucking 5:30 in the morning in North Philly because you're just like doing drugs a little bit. Like that's strung the fuck out. Like that's addict behavior.
It's addict behavior, but not everyone who's doing that is an addict.
And I think that people buy into because they tried to make me buy into it. The idea of like once an addict, you're always an addict, and your whole life is spent fighting this off. And I understand for some people, I can understand for a time the benefit of that mindset, right? For the first year of being clean or
right.
whatever it might be, the benefit of like, this is my only job is to stay off of drugs. But if you tell yourself that day in and day out for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years, that's a thing that's ingrained in your head. Oh, I'm an addict. I don't think that it's a I don't think it's a like, oh, this guy was an addict and this guy was heavy into drugs. It's, yeah, these guys were all addicts. Here's the people who, and I think that this is one of the major faults with the 12-step programs is that, like, you now are labeling yourself this thing forever, so of course you're stuck in that box. Because day in and day out, you're at a meeting saying, my name's Sean, I'm an alcoholic, I'm an addict and alcoholic. So now, every day, your mind is programmed to say, like, oh, I'm an addict, I'm a person who has to fight against this thought, and it's perpetuating this fucking thought in your head.
Your mind was programmed, and that's why you're in the meetings in the first place. You didn't get into those meetings just to find out you were an addict. You went into those meetings because shit went so fucking sideways that you needed out.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, there's two people at the bar, and one of them goes there and gets drunk every fucking day because he hates his wife and he doesn't want to go home and he's just dragging it all out. And then there's another guy who's sitting right next to him drinking exactly as much because if he doesn't, he'll get the fucking shakes and he can't handle life and everything is burning in his soul if he doesn't drink a beer by 9 a.m. They're two different people on the same path, and their way off of the path is completely different from each other because one of them is never going to really quench those burning desires, and the other one can say, improve their lot in life, and suddenly the drugs are a very bad idea and a very dangerous thing, and you just, what's it going to take for you to do another speedball? Probably it would have to be catastrophic at this point, right? Like,
I just can't.
Your family dies in a plane crash next week.
Maybe
it would have to be,
but
something
crazy
it would have to
like
be
that.
completely catastrophic.
Yeah, I'm not going to listen. There's not time. Every once in a while, I think about shooting cocaine.
Sure,
sounds like a fun idea.
Get the energy up. It's like taking the green mix for your pre-workout.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Sounds like a fun idea to fucking blast some coke into me and fucking geek out for a little while.
And you think about it, for 20 minutes, and then you go, yeah, but if I get arrested, this fucking thing's going to be bad.
Yeah, I know.
And then you just don't do it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because you're not an addict.
Yeah.
You're just a person who did a lot of fucking drugs.
Listen, no, I'm not an addict. I appreciate that that you recognize that as well as I do, but I'm going to disagree with the thought process that not everybody can get to my mindset and get where I'm at.
So what do you
in recovery against drugs and alcohol?
What do you think Suboxone is for?
What do I think it's for?
Yeah, like why are people taking it? If conceptually, if we can just sit down and go through enough therapeutic rehabilitation.
Well, the idea is that you don't take it forever.
But why are you taking it?
To get, because the same way that I took methadone,
right,
would be the same concept. Like you take a period of time where you now don't have to think about using drugs to build up enough things around you so that you flip over that script and start to enjoy life rather than just like live to not die.
So you're essentially taking a drug to get past taking the other drug.
Yes.
So what happens if I stop taking the Suboxone and then I get the cravings again? Where am I at? More Suboxone?
You got to deal with that.
Because you're an addict. But there's other people who can get clean and be like...
Yeah, but this is what I just said, is that I have cravings once in a while.
No.
And I get past them.
You don't have cravings. You think about doing drugs. It's not the same thing.
And with a X amount of time, like with X... Here's how it goes.
When was the last time you did drugs? Like...
it's pushing like 6 years.
Okay. So when these what you're calling cravings come up, right?
At this point, they're not cravings. It's just the thought.
They're fleeting thoughts that you will write off as being either dangerous or goofy. Like, what am I? I'm a 35-year-old man. I'm not going to sit down and shoot cocaine into my arm.
Yeah, but anybody who has 6 years clean, right? If you ask them whether they subscribe to I'm an addict or I once did a lot of drugs, they're going to tell you that the feelings diminish over time to the point where they're a thought. So in this case,
falling off the wagon.
In this case, where my friend is to the point where he thinks
he's considering it,
thinking about it,
right?
It's because instead of taking that thought and like being proactive about it and getting past it, whatever's going on in his life, he's allowed that thought to fester and stick around and grow and get more and more and more to the point. And I could do that. I could very easily say to myself, when that thought of like, cocaine sounds fun, I could sit and think like, well, yeah, you know, I could do it because like I got the money in the bank and I could probably go blow $100 and it's not a big deal. And Steph's gone next weekend, so I could wait till then. So, and nobody's really going to know because Sadie's going to be at my mom's house over the week, so then I could do that.
So we can do this dance for the rest of the night.
It
it won't be that interesting, but
it's not.
Let me take it from.
I'll give you the final word.
Let
give
me
me
take
the
it from
final
a different
word.
perspective.
Yeah, give me the final word.
Your lack of self-esteem doesn't allow you to give yourself enough credit for what you've accomplished and how you've accomplished it. I have this same thing, and I'm not bragging about myself, but generally, I would say 80% of the time I'm the smartest person in the room. And I'm not bragging. This is the position I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay? But what happens to me is, because of the lack of self-esteem, is I can't comprehend that I can comprehend better than other people can. So when I can accomplish something, and then somebody else says, I don't know how to do that, I can't do that, my thought is, I'm a fucking low-life piece of shit. I can do this. Why can't you? It's just so easy, because if I can do it, it's easy. So you should be able to do it too, because I'm nobody, I'm nothing, I'm worthless. You have that opinion of yourself in general, even though you're the freshest kid out there and all that stuff.
Right.
Your opinion of yourself is, well, I spent from 14 to 25 in and out of the system because I'm a piece of shit and I'm garbage. And if I can just kick the habit one day, everybody can just kick the habit one day. And you sell yourself short on what you've accomplished because of that. Because of the lack of self-esteem overall, you sell yourself incredibly short for what you've accomplished versus where people would expect you to be if they had known you at 20 years old and you told them, hey, at 35, I'm going to have a house, I'm going to have a family. We're not going to live in the ghetto. We're going to have a nice truck. We're going to have a business of our own in my own name that I got to write taxes off on. They would have been like, you're just fucking high again. That's all that is.
Right.
You're fucking high and dreaming. You don't give yourself the credit. So when we get to this point where it's just like, well, just stop doing it and then don't think about it so much anymore and you'll be fine, you're completely writing off your accomplishment. No, and by doing that, you're selling yourself short.
No, I understand that it's not just stop doing that.
I'm shortcutting it, I know, and I understand, it takes time and you got to practice and you got to take some time to get it. I gotcha. But still, you sell yourself short that you were able to do that and able to maintain it. It's not how it works for everybody. It's not how it works for most people that are on the path that you were on.
I get what you're saying here, but I think it's with anything, and I wish that we weren't so far in because it would perfectly lead me into one of my other topics, which we can stretch out till next week, which is what's the most important quality for a young man to cultivate. But I think that with any, with the willingness to do what's necessary and the discipline to stay there, which anybody can get you have to grab it. There has to be the want to grab it.
Not everybody's built like you.
Everybody could be.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I just don't think people are willing to do the things that it takes.
Those people exist too, absolutely. Nothing fits into just one box.
No.
But there's plenty of people that just aren't built like you. I would love to be in the gym for an hour and a half a day every day. But the first thing I would need to do would be consider being in the gym a privilege or a benefit or something good. Anytime I walk in the gym, regardless of what I'm doing, it's a fucking drag. And I can't shake that feeling no matter what I do. I can't bring a movie with me. I can't fucking go to Edge where you can walk on a treadmill while they're playing a movie on the big screen.
Yeah.
I can't even do the things that I would do for fun, like go swimming and things like that, and be like, all right, I can swim because I like swimming, so this doesn't feel like torture to me. It always fucking feels like torture. Whereas when you get in the gym, it always feels like this is the best fucking part of my day. I love this.
No. It's torture.
No, it's not torture.
But it's torture. It's torture.
It's positive torture to you.
I have trained my mind, right, to accept the torture because I understand
Because you can
what comes at the end of it.
You like the net benefits.
Yeah, baby, you don't get biceps by fucking eating tasty cakes,
No,
Daddy.
Of course not.
So I get that.
Yeah.
And anybody who can connect that, like if you can grab it and hold on to it, and then not just hold on to it, but then do it long enough to start to see some result of it.
No.
It gets easier and easier and easier. And it's the same concept with going to the gym as it is with not doing drugs, as it is with being financially responsible. I'm not financially responsible. I'm the fucking worst. You know what I mean? I'm trying to grab the discipline of, like, if I don't spend and I put this in the savings account and I try and fucking get some money into an investment, like, I'm trying to grasp a hold of that discipline.
Plan. Yeah.
But
it's hard.
Yeah. It's the same. So that escapes me for right now, but I don't believe that I'm incapable of doing it. And this is across the board. I don't believe that there's anything that I'm incapable of doing.
And then a byproduct of that, like I said, is, but you also believe that if you're capable of doing it all, everybody should be. Because you're not that big of a deal.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's wrong. That's completely wrong.
It's humility.
Well, no, it's not humility. It's lack of self-esteem.
Nah.
Because you
I don't think at this point I'm lacking self-esteem.
Well,
I think maybe at one point that may have been true, but I think I'm pretty wholeheartedly confident in myself at this point.
No, you're not.
Okay.
No, you're not. Because you never in this show or any other conversation take a minute to go, look at what I fucking accomplished. This is incredible. It's always, I got to get out of this. I don't know why I'm here. I should have done something.
That's drive and humility. That doesn't mean that I don't have self-esteem. It just means that I have drive and I'm humble about what I've done. Because sometimes I do take a minute and I'm like, bitch, look at your truck.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a fancy truck.
I got to wash the wheels. But do you ever really say, what I've done, maybe 3% of the people on my path could have pulled this off. I don't say that, no. None of my peers could have pulled this off the way I pulled this off.
But I've watched some of them pull it off.
You've watched some of them, but then you've watched a lot of them crash and burn, right? Of all the people you spent time going in and out of jail with from 14 to 25, how many of them you think are successful businessmen right now? 2%? 1%?
Who knows?
Maybe.
I don't know. I really don't know.
The statistics bear out that once you're in jail, your fucking life is over regardless of why you got there.
Yeah, but I feel like whatever. We'll just fucking keep going. But
you're better than you think you are, and you apply that to other people, and it's not fair to them.
Fair enough. They should just be better.
Yeah, they should just.
What the fuck? Live up to my expectations.
Up to your level. Yeah, exactly.
That's all.
Then no one would be an addict.
Well, next week, now that you know, we'll be talking about what's the most important quality for a young man to cultivate.
Is that what you want to do on the phone from Atlanta, or you want to wait for that for 2 weeks?
We'll wait. Yeah, we'll wait till I come back.
Do you want to discuss it on the air? What the plan is for Friday, or you want to wait until we hang up? Fade out.
Nah, we'll talk about it, and then they'll see.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Hit them from left field. Keep them guessing.
Right.
Keep them on their toes.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So, this has been, another episode of The Gig live on Friday night. If you're listening to the replay, if you're still listening anywhere out there on the internet to the live stream, we appreciate you coming through. All these are available on YouTube for the replay. There's some, if I would stop fucking around and get on top of the audio replays, they would be on... There's a bunch on iTunes, a bunch on Spotify, and at some point this week, I will catch up and put them all back on so you can hear them there. If you want some home remodeling done, hit me up. We gave you the number earlier. It's 856-729-7278. Hit me on DMs, text message, call me, whatever. We'll get your home remodeled, and that's all facets of home remodeling. From your foundation to your roof, we could take care of it for you. I am Sean Cove. Across from me is Payday. This is the Gig Podcast. That's 2 G's with a microphone in the middle. And we hope to see you next Friday, but also Monday. At 8:30.
Yeah.
Same place.
Same time. Well, different time, but.
And until then, get on my level.
Get on his level.
Peace. I don't know this one.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia on my mind. I said, Georgia.